Welcome everybody to another shocking episode of Lockdown 23 in 1. That's right, today we're traveling down to Oklahoma. It says here in an article written back in 2017, a former corrections officer who resigned in December 2016 has since posted hidden camera video footage from within the Lexington Assessment and Reception Center in Oklahoma, which is a prison. Usually reception is where every inmate goes to get classified and figure out what level of prison they go to from there. But in the video, it starts off with the caption saying, "My resignation." And there's parts throughout the video that has no audio. It's replaced with music, so if you hear silence or a little bit of music that I put in there, that's why. But like I said in the opening, it starts off saying "my resignation." Then he goes on to recording some of the inmates and staff. A lot of the staff is going to be speaking openly about inmates back in the break room, even a supervisor. And it's kind of hard to see a supervisor act like that knowing damn well other people are looking up to him. He's the one, if you're to ask me, to set the pace, keep everything in check. But either way, I guess the guy had enough of it and that's why he's resigning, and he wanted to record it before he left. So let's get right into it. If you enjoy this type of content and you're new, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave. And check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Alright, here we go. My resignation. From the Oklahoma Department of Corrections. By James M. Larrick. He's the individual recording all this, I believe. And he's had enough. Looks like he's doing some rounds. Nighttime checks. It's supposed to be done like every 30 minutes in most establishments.
Why can't I get a door fixed? Why can't I get this fixed? Why can't I get that fixed? Why can't I have some clothes to dress these people out like I'm supposed to? Why can't I have this? No, I gotta worry about painting probably in another 2 weeks because we're gonna have 5 gallons of paint down here.
Alright, this is typical right here, man. Correctional officers go back to the booth and vent to their partner. Whether it's about the streets or prison, it doesn't matter. Look, these guys are kind of like cellmates as well. Sitting in that booth together all night, man, quiet as hell. Ain't nothing else to do but watch your phone and chat it up. But he's had enough as well. It seems like he's sick and tired of not having enough stuff to house these inmates properly. Not to mention, he said these doors are broken and the only thing that they're sending to fix it ain't gonna fix it. It's just gonna cover it up, make it look good. A little bit of paint. But this reminds me of when, DOC would come down and do their checks of each prison. What's the first thing that these wardens do in the prison? Start painting shit. I don't care if the lock on the cell fell off last week. Paint over it. I promise, when you see all the paint unload in a prison or jail, it's because someone's coming to inspect it. But here's the thing, and this is why he's probably getting so frustrated, because all these inmates are complaining. They need things, and he can't get them, and he has to hear from these inmates over and over again. And I'm sure it gets tiresome, man, hearing from all these guys, and he knows damn well ain't nothing gonna happen.
Screw the paint.
Screw the paint.
Paint ain't gonna cover up rust. It's gonna still come through.
That's right. Sip that racetrack.
A door frame fixed. One of these days, luckily it's out to the outside little old rec yard. When they push that door out, because the frame's all rusted out into some bit.
Oh, this is like a dorm part of the prison, if I were to guess. So we've seen cells, and it might be overcrowding, and they just threw them in the gym. But look, you see how they have everything hanging up on these bunks? Some of the prisons I've been in, they would come in and rip every last thing down. You can't have nothing that will block the cameras. But in some prisons, they don't care what you're doing back there.
And it starts radiating, my chest really hurts and the pain starts radiating right.
Part of that.
Now I know we kind of just jumped right into the middle of this conversation, but I'm here to break it down for you. This right here, I believe, is a supervisor. Don't quote me on that. But he's speaking about how inmates like to fake medical emergencies. And he starts acting like an inmate. Oh yeah, my chest hurts, and it hurts right here where the guy f***ed me. Right? That's not really something you should joke around about.
And it starts radiating, my chest really hurts and the pain starts radiating right here.
Part of that. do, they brought, what's his name, Everett, last name Everett.
I don't know their names. I don't bother learning them. I barely know the guys on the
He
yard.
came back with a hospital.
And it's just like if one's having a seizure, pinch their ass. Bend over and pinch them. They fucking do this shit. Motherfucker, get the hell and get back in your bed. Get the hell and get back in your bed. The nurse taught me that.
So he's over here breaking down his technique on how to figure out if an inmate's having a fake seizure or not, or any kind of medical emergency, right? He said just pinch them. They'll wake right up out of it. Trust me. Nurse taught me that back in '92. But, you know, a lot of people might look at this video and say, oh man, this is despicable, unreal. It ain't to me though, because I've seen COs speak way worse about inmates. Now I hate to say this, but to the CO's defense, I'm here to tell you, man, a lot of inmates, including myself, have faked medical emergencies. I remember I got into a few altercations with law enforcement. First thing I said was, I got heart problems, I can't breathe. They'll get up off you pretty quick, but some of them won't. They know you're bullshitting, man. This is the thing though, COs, whether you think they're bullshitting or not, you gotta take every situation serious. No matter if it was 100 false alarms and fake phonies before. One of those days is really gonna be someone having an emergency. And you're gonna think that they're crying wolf just like the last 500 inmates. And guess what? He dies in a few hours and the whole place getting sued and you're fired. Possibly facing some jail time. So when you're in a position of power and looking after people's well-being, certain things should not apply anymore. Like the cry wolf theory. You can't umbrella every inmate with that once you've experienced it from a few others. But it happens all the time, and that's why a lot of individuals die from these medical emergencies. The majority of COs just don't trust no inmate, man, regardless of what it is. The guy got a tumbler, man. Looks like he's in the sergeant's office or something, sipping some yak, some coffee.
So look, I get arrested.
Alright, so we have an inmate here. I'm not gonna lie, he seems like he's elevated on cloud 9. Maybe he's just really hot, sweating, and has an itchy face. I don't know, but he's gonna break down a street story that kind of goes along the lines of the correctional officer speaking about fake medical emergencies. But you know for a fact this is an old dusty prison when they got an AC unit like that in the room.
I can't remember which time or what it was for, but I get arrested. It was for petty larceny. I remember that much. But I've been arrested for it so many times, 100 times, you know what I mean? And well, I had a felony warrant in Cleveland County. What the fuck? Just got out of prison, bro. I was like, what the fuck? I seen a warrant in Cleveland County. They're like, yeah, for burglary too. I was like, burglary too? I was like, what the fuck? But he's like, yeah, from 2007.
Alright, so he's breaking down how he just got released from prison and an officer comes up to him saying he has some warrants. And he can't believe it, you know? And that's honestly one of the worst things to experience, something I haven't even experienced. Going home from prison and you realize you got fresh charges when you leave that you haven't taken care of. That means you're going straight back to county somewhere else, wherever you committed the crime. And then if they sentence you to prison, you're going right back to prison. That is the worst case scenario. Or you're leaving and the feds are waiting to indict you. Glad I never went through nothing like that, but I was always paranoid.
And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I just discharged that. And so I started saying some chest pains, you know what I mean? No, to the hospital.
Alright, so he said immediately he starts complaining about chest pains because he knows that the officer's going to take him to the hospital. And this is a perfect example of why COs never trust inmates. They're already thinking about the next step. Chest pains, hospital, freedom.
They took me to the hospital. Southwest, they were like, where do you want to go? Southwest Memphis. I was living on 52nd and Western at the time, which is right there. I think that's 16 over there. Right down the street. Yeah. And, let's see. What's up, bro? Yeah. And then, so I get in there, and it was when we was having that badass ice storm. You remember that? A couple years ago, a few years ago? The bad ice storm, remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
So the cop comes in there, it's Oklahoma County cop, and he's like, listen. He's like, I'm gonna write you a ticket for this petty larceny. He was like, Cleveland County's gonna come get you. It's gonna be a couple hours, though, because of the ice storm. He's like, don't leave.
takes the handcuffs off, gives me my clothes. I'm like, to get a felony warrant, you cannot leave. I'm like, all right. So they come give me a shot of Ativan, which is like Xanax, you know what I mean? And they had that little line in me, and at that time I couldn't find a vein, you know what I mean? And I knew I had heroin at the house, and I was walking distance from the house. That's why I planned it, you know what I mean? I figured they was gonna let me go anyway. And I sat there about an hour, and I was like, got up, put my clothes on. He said, you know what? All right, I'm out. He gave me my phone and everything. Yeah, everything.
So he's saying an officer took him to a hospital, said that Cleveland County's gonna come pick you up in a couple hours, don't go nowhere. I'm gonna write you a ticket for the misdemeanor, but you still have that felony warrant. Wait for Cleveland County. Takes off his cuffs, gives him his clothes and phone. I don't know about y'all, but that sounds completely ridiculous, but at the same time, believable. Usually I can tell if someone's faking the funk, but this guy seems to be authentic. Getting hyped up, talking about the story. That's the first sign that it's real, man, when they get hyped up.
You know what I mean? And I had a feeling when I was like, oh, fuck. Took off out the door, and the doctor was like, hey, where are you going? We're running at, you know, the door slide up right there and starts talking. I'm like, please don't smoke. What do you mean? I thought as soon as my foot touched the ground, I was like, boom. I never hit my head. I got back and took off running. We were running down Western. And somehow, when I was running,
that was the best running motorboat sound I've ever heard. Let's run it back.
I took off running. We were running down Western. And somehow, when I was running, somehow I went right instead of left towards 52nd. So I ended up like on 60-something in Black Clover. I was like, I didn't know where I was. First time in my life, I didn't know where I was in the city.
He ran so fast and far, he was lost in his own hometown. Like Sonic, man. You never know where you're going to land when you stop them feet.
So I went and found, like, one of the main streets. And I turned right, and I walked back up to 44th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, and I had to walk. I was like a mile. Somehow I ended up a mile, bro.
Yeah, that's a hike, bro.
So I went back up to 44th. I took one of the side streets right there, because I knew they'd be looking for me on the main street. You know what I mean? And I walked down to 52nd.
What'd you do?
Walk down to 52nd.
Oh, okay.
Just walk straight down 52nd. There's the next one sitting outside. And hey, what's up, man? I'm going to be on a cigarette. Got a couple cigarettes from him, you know what I mean?
Can't forget about the bum and cigarette part of the story. I really feel like I'm in the cell with someone right now, man. Small talking. These are how these convos go. Street stories and prison stories. Not to mention those sexcapade stories.
Got back to my house, and that girl
Lauren?
This is a good story about Lauren. You know about these videos she sent me. Did I send this video?
No.
Oh my God.
Recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me that one.
Yeah. No, well.
I showed you those videos of Lauren that she just sent me, right? No? Recently? Yeah, man, you have no idea what Lauren's doing in these ones. I'll show you later after we drink some mud.
Yeah, you told me that one.
Yeah. No, well, with another dude. Well, yeah, well, I'll tell you that next. Well, I get in there, and she's like, oh my God, the cops have been here, and you need to call your mom. So I call my mom, I was like, Jason, cops just left here. She's like, you're not in no trouble. They just want you to come turn yourself in. I was like, well, Mom, you tell them to come find me. I tell them I said, off. I'm not turning myself in. You know better than this. Like, yeah, I know.
Mom, you know better than this. I ain't turning my self in. You raised me to be a free man, and that's what I'm doing.
701 to 305, your EB.
Go ahead, sir.
I had one of my transport officers escorting an inmate down to grab those trays and lunch sacks.
Copy that. I'll meet him at the front door.
Got ourselves another little nighttime run. I have never seen a table like this before, man. These are supposed to be shiny metal, but it looks like they swapped the seats and the top out for wood. God, I'm so glad I don't have to live in a cell block no more, man. One giant tomb. Dead time. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a closer look inside of an Oklahoma prison. He actually has 2 other parts. If you want me to react to those, let me know in the comment section below and I'll bring it your way. But this clip in particular, even though it doesn't show too much, you can learn a lot from it. And that is, nobody trusts no one in prison. Not the COs, inmates, janitors, nothing. And I've been saying the same thing for 7 years since I started this channel. Even wrote it on the wall in my cell in prison. Don't trust nobody. I can never understand how people are like, man, I met some of the best guys on earth in prison. Not me. There was probably about 2 or 3 people where I said, man, I like to kick it with this guy when I got out. But then I would say, nah, never mind. No, I wouldn't. I'm a people's person, but I'm not a people's person, if that makes sense. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, a huge trust issue in prison, and that's why a lot of these medical emergencies go to the wayside. Not saying that that's what happens all the time. I'm just saying the trust factor here and not caring is the biggest issues. Anyways, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta go do some free world stuff, like cut my grass. I love it, even down to pulling the weeds. Hard work, but at the end, it pays off, man. It's like a brand new edge up after leaving the barber. But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed, like I said in the beginning, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave. And as always, y'all be easy, be safe, and more importantly than anything, stay free.